All right, for segment one, for the first video today, in segment one, we're going to cover miscellaneous hazards and damage when it comes to Twilight 2000. We're talking things like fire and drowning and chemical warfare. Remember, this is a war game, so chemical warfare, radiation, and a couple others. This will probably be a pretty short video. I just jinxed myself. I should never do that. It should theoretically be a pretty short video, unlike the next one, which will be on vehicle combat. You got to understand, this is a war game. Radiation exists, nukes were launched, things happen, and you now have to be prepared for them. You don't want to burn alive. Let's just put it that way. And let's find out why here right now. Oop, there we go. By the way, did anybody notice they actually changed those things even for last week? Those little banners, they're a little different now. Anyway, so please check the description of this video for ways to support Legion of Myth, donate to our charity, and if you're a content creator, we highly suggest that you ditch StreamYard, because StreamYard is screwing you over unless it decides to change its ways. And you can look in the description right now to find a Restream link. And Restream offers all the same features, if not more. Actually, not if not, plus more. And I'm not sponsored by Restream. It's just StreamYard has messed. If you're a content creator, look at it. If you haven't got the notification yet, you soon will. So jump on over to Restream with that link that's in the description. All right. Present this. So I probably should have done that beforehand, but you know, pro streamer. And there's our player's one more time. There you go. There's our player's manual, looking like it's a World War II field guide. I should actually show you my grandfather's World War II field guide. I think I put it. Yeah, it's right behind me. Maybe between segments. And now we're going to talk about things that can happen to you while you are adventuring that don't involve gunfire or fisticuffs or corporal up and letting you get stabbed. Falling. Falling on a hard surface inflicts an amount of damage equal to the height of the fall in meters divided by 2. So if you fall 5 meters, which is approximately 5 times 3, 15, so about 16, 17 feet. Did I do that right? Yeah. You will take, 5 damage. The crit threshold is 3. So if you're, okay, I can't do math all of a sudden. If you're 6 meters, really, that's it? Yeah, I guess, okay. Am I doing my math wrong here? Am I unmathing?
No,
is it stream math?
You're about 18 feet.
Yeah, well, about 20 feet. So 3 meters, yeah, about 20 feet. You take the crit threshold. Okay,
That is about 2.5 stories.
Yeah,
that's significant.
Yeah, for some reason, I feel like I did the first math wrong. If not, well, too bad. But yeah, the crit threshold is 3. So basically 18, I will get the 6 meters, so about 20 feet. If you fall from that, good luck. If you take 3 or more points of damage, you are, which you will, you're going to take a critical hit. In a controlled jump, roll mobility. Each success rolled reduces the damage inflicted by 1. Tuck and roll, baby, tuck and roll. And body armor gives no protection. Duh, because you're still smacking it. If that sudden stop. It's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop at the end.
Unless your body armor is structured just like those things in science class to protect the egg from the fall, then you're good. Then you're good.
That was science class? That was home ec for me.
Oh, no. Well, Minnesota hits different, I guess.
and we had to carry that egg around for what was it, a week? I think it was, and not have it break. Yeah, that was home ec for us. It was to take care of your baby.
No, for us it was the physics of absorbing kinetic energy. That's ours.
Drowning. All player characters are assumed to know how to swim. Well, that's okay. It's a game, not the real world. That's for sure. Yeah. In rough seas, or if you're stuck in water for a long time, you need to make a mobility roll to stay afloat. If you sink or intentionally swim underwater, you need to make a stamina roll every round to hold your breath. If you fail, you start to drown and suffer 1 point of damage every round. So you didn't inhale a big, deep breath quite yet. You're still fighting it, but things are happening. If you're incapacitated when drowning, you must make a death save, which we've already covered, every round until you die or are saved by being brought to the surface, and a successful medical roll. Get that water out of you. Fire. A fire is measured in its intensity ranging from A to D. Oh, that's great. Just like a skill level, where A is the most intense, A typical fire has intensity C. So that kind of tells you what a big conflagration will do for you, right? Those California wildfires. When
Or
exposed to
blast
what's that?
Or a blast furnace being probably A.
Flamethrower. When exposed to fire, roll 2 base dice of the type corresponding to the intensity. For every success rolled, you suffer 1 point of damage. Okay, so 2 Cs are 2 D8s. So if I'm blasting you, or if you're in a intensity C fire, roll 2 D8, and those successes. The good news is only a maximum of 2 successes on that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in that blast furnace, well, that could be 2D12. If you're in an intensity A fire, you could have 4 successes on there. So 1 point. So it'd be 1 point of damage for each success. Armor has no effect against fire damage. Now,
I don't know, man. I have a problem with that. For the first or second round, I think armor should, but after the armor heats up, then no.
So what I was going to say is I think part of it has to do with the type of armor. If you're actually wearing, asbestos laced armor, that's different. But this is just a general rule. Obviously, you're going to get particular types of armor that would have, better protection, potentially. If you take damage, you catch fire and continue to burn.
Notice that is a statement. That is an absolute statement. If you take damage, any damage, 1 point of damage, you are now also on fire. Yeah.
Place a fire token on your character on the battle map. When burning, you suffer another attack each round at your turn. The intensity increases by 1 each round.
Up to a maximum A. Oh my God.
That's your clothes and everything lighting on fire. That's because you starched your BDUs and you're not supposed to starch the BDUs, and now you know why.
Yep.
As soon as fire attack inflicts no damage, the fire goes out by itself. So if somehow you roll and it does no damage,
it went out.
It's out. It went out. That's actually, I kind of like that.
I get that. Yeah, okay. Any damage, you start fire. No damage, you end fire. That makes sense. I can see that.
You or a friend in the same hex can put out the fire with a successful mobility roll, which is a slow action. Using a blanket or similar object gives a +2 modifier. Again, using the construct of the game, that makes sense. I know somebody's going to quibble. Mobility roll, that doesn't make sense. It's got to pick the best skill for the job. There are only 12 skills in the game. Fire crits. Fire damage has a critical injury threshold of 2. So if you roll those 2d8, remember that's the average damage because average intensity is C, which would be 2d8. So 2d8, you can possibly get 2 points of damage. Well, if you suffer 2 points of damage or more from fire in a single round, you are critically injured. Don't roll for this critical injury. Instead, the effect is always a -2 modifier to stamina and mobility. Hot potato, baby. Mm-hmm. The crit is lethal. Death saves must be made each stretch, and healing time is 2d6 days. Dude, if you've ever seen burn victims,
are no joke.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I actually kind of think that this is being lenient, but I'm not complaining. All right. Chemical warfare, the gross part of war, especially when there is no more Geneva or a convention. Chemical weapons remain in the arsenals of several military forces, and they remain a deadly threat on the ravaged battlefields of Europe. They come in 2 main categories, nerve agents and blistering agents. No, there were... Well, I'm not going to quibble over the game. I remember there was nerve, blistering, and something else. I forget. It's been too long. Anyway, these deadly weapons are generally distributed using artillery shells. Use the table below to determine how far from the target hex that the effect of the chemical round reaches based on the blast power of the weapon, which we've already covered. Remember, the blast power of the weapon is ABCD. I'm not going to go back over those rules. You can look at the previous video on that one. When a chemical round detonates, place a chem token to indicate the outer boundaries of the contaminated area. I didn't realize I was going to need all these tokens today. I can probably grab them between segments to show the people in the live stream. But I of course, do have them. Protective gear. Protective masks and suits can offer you some protection against chemical weapons. A mask gives you a -2 modifier to all recon rolls and to stamina rolls made for marching. What? Okay.
It is harder to breathe. I get it. And it does say marching, not just moving around.
So here's the thing. The reason why I was quibbling, but my quibble is just a personal quibble. It's not that it's a bad game design quibble, is there are some people who can barely handle having the mask on. Me, I can do anything. I can wear my mask for hours. I'd fall asleep in the dumb thing. It didn't bother me one bit. So honestly, it's really a person by person take, but I think as a general rule, there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm not saying you should adjust your game either. Well, I can do this. Look, most people that I saw kind of struggled with the mask. I could do this entire live stream in the mask and not have a problem.
Except for no one would be able to hear you. It would all be Charlie Brown's mom.
I did a stream with it a couple years ago when I was testing. Remember, I got those dice,
and
it was in a package that didn't have like who it was from on there. So I put on the I kind of knew what it was. So I put on all my chem gear and I said, well, let's open the package and that, in case it's anthrax. So I did quite a bit of that stream in chem gear.
Okay, and I got a question for you. You put on all that stuff because you didn't know what was in there and you were joking it could be anthrax. Where was your wife?
Huh? She was
unprotected in the other room?
Yeah, my door was shut. She was in the other room. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it would have been white powder, I would have been like, don't come in here, call the cops. But it wasn't white powder. It was dice.
Close all the vents.
It was dice. Oh, we're good. Anyway, yeah. I also, because it was a new chem suit, I got charcoal all over me. It was horrible. All right, nerve agents. These extremely deadly toxins developed in the middle of the 20th century kill very quickly, and even very limited exposure can have deadly effect. This is the problem with nerve agents. That is a misnomer, but I'm glad they used it for the game. A lot of them do kill very quickly. A lot of them don't. And you go from twitching to drooling to foaming at the mouth to fluttering, and it's not pretty. So let's go with the quickly one for the purposes of a game. The most common variants are sarin gas, which is gaseous and disperses quickly, and VX, which is liquid and can contaminate an area for days or even weeks. That is true. We used to get these little tapes that we probably still do, that we dip in there and check. For sarin attacks, roll D6 for each contaminated area on the battle map at the start of each round. On a roll of 1, the gas is dispersed. Bye-bye, gas. It's only a 15% chance. Exposure. In a contaminated hex, you must make a stamina roll on each of your turns before performing any actions. If unprotected, you get a -3 modifier. Wow. Well, I mean, makes sense, though.
Tough. Yeah. The human body has no natural defense to this stuff, so I get it.
Right. Wearing a protective mask, the roll is unmodified. Basic protective clothing, like a raincoat, gives a +1 modifier. You'd be surprised how well when it comes to blister agents. I mean, what do we wear? We wear rubber gloves.
Yeah, as long as you don't get it on your skin or get it in your lungs, you're fine.
Rubber gloves with cotton inserts, and then the suit itself was charcoal lined. That's what I was talking about before, so it soaked all of that up. And yeah, and then with the helmet, we had that little plastic, whatever. I'd say helmet. I mean, mask with a little plastic. Look, as long as you have a barrier. A cotton barrier is not a good barrier.
No, it'll just soak in. It'll eventually get to your skin, and then it'll be bad times.
But a raincoat is a perfect barrier. Gives a +1 modifier. Putting on a mask is a fast action if it's in your combat gear, and military members train that. Only a full hazmat suit will completely protect you from the effects of a nerve agent. I would still say that it's probably not a fast action, because remember, fast actions are 5 to 10 seconds. Or a round is 5 to 10 seconds, and pulling it out, putting it on, pulling the thing over,
purging it, blowing it out.
I don't know if that should be a fast action, but I'm not going to complain. It's a game. Effects. If you fail the stamina roll, you immediately suffer 1 point of damage and 1 point of stress. Just one?
If you start suffering damage from a nerve agent, I think you'd suffer a lot more stress than that, because oh god, I'm gonna die. That's exactly what should be going through your head right now.
And a further point of damage and stress on each of your subsequent turns, even if you leave the contaminated area.
Because you're already dead. Yeah, good job.
If you are incapacitated by damage while suffering the effects of a nerve agent, you must make a death save every round. The only way to save your life at this point is to inject you with atropine. This is a fast action by yourself or someone else and requires no medical aid roll. When injected, no further death saves are made, and you recover normally. By the way, don't
inject La La Land.
Well, it's a game again. But here's the other thing that I'd like to say. I don't see a rule in here about injecting yourself twice.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, the injecting yourself once side effects is bad enough. Twice is
Dead.
is probably as bad as the nerve agent.
For most people, twice will kill you.
Yeah.
These chemical weapons come in many varieties. The substance commonly known as mustard gas, this is about blister agents now, sorry, being the most infamous. They're less lethal than nerve agents, but more horrifying. Instead, their purpose is to incapacitate. Most blistering agents can contaminate an area for a long time.
I don't know, man. I mean, coughing up your lungs. I don't think that's
so.
incapacitating.
The thing about old school blister agents, though, is most of them are liquid. It's hard to get it in the lungs. But if you do,
bye-bye.
And it's, I saw a video, and let's just leave it at that. This is in the 90s.
Yeah. You don't want that. You don't want that.
The effects of a blistering agent are not immediate, sometimes appearing hours after exposure. Make a stamina roll within a shift after exposure. Just like for nerve agents, you get a -3 modifier if you're unprotected when exposed. A protective mask makes the roll unmodified, and basic protective clothing gives a +1 modifier. I don't understand that. Blister agents are so easy if you're in a suit to avoid. So I don't understand why you'd even have a roll.
As long as you don't breathe it, yeah. But having a mask, I get, because it rolls unmodified if you just have a mask, because it's so easy to avoid. Just make sure you don't get it on your skin. You've already got a mask. You don't have to worry about breathing it. Everything else is just, hey, don't touch your face, stupid, stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Hazmat. Okay, never mind. A hazmat suit offers full protection. Okay, and I would say that mop gear is a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
I might have the character. This is being really pedantic now, guys. You don't have to do this in your own game. I might be really pedantic about it and have somebody make a mobility roll with like a +2 modifier when taking off the suit. Because if you remember, I don't know how much chem warfare training you went through. I went through a ton.
Yeah, there is a way to take it off to make sure that you don't contaminate yourself doing it. Yeah.
Now you can also make the assumption that these are like the military folks here would know. Yeah.
Yeah, and they would take off the gear of civilians before they take off their own.
Right.
As long as you take, precautions like that, I wouldn't have a roll.
Yeah, and you know what? And you guys don't have to get all weird about that in your game. It is just a game. I'm just remembering all of this. So, flashbacks to Nam. I mean, what? Effects. If you fail the stamina roll, you suffer 1 point of damage and 1 point of stress, and you suffer a critical injury as from fire. That makes sense, because you're basically burning in a different way. But with death saves every shift, not stretch. So you're not lit on fire, you're just slowly dissolving.
Yeah.
Then roll for stamina again each subsequent shift with the same modifiers for protective gear. By the way, just in case anybody didn't watch previous videos, stretch is 15 minutes-ish, and a shift is 6 to 10 hours. I just like to say 8 hours because it makes life easier. Suffering another point of damage and stress for each failed roll. While suffering from the effects of a blistering agent, you cannot recover damage or stress. There are ways to negate the blistering agent if you get...
Yeah, but if you don't have the proper decontaminant stuff, then you just got to throw alcohol or oil or whatever thing could possibly, remove the agent, but it's a Hail Mary at that point.
Right, yeah, fair. As soon as you succeed at stamina roll or when you are incapacitated, the effects stop. Oh, thanks. And no more stamina rolls need to be made. But your critical injury remains and must be treated. When rolling for medical aid to treat a critical injury from blistering agent, certain chemicals like household bleach give a +2 modifier.
See, that's what I'm talking about. If you have the proper chemical, de-blistering agenter, then better on you.
Just remember, the whole bleach thing, again, I love the fact that they're simplifying it here for civvies. You don't want to just dump bleach on somebody. There is kind of a ratio you're supposed to use, but don't worry about that. Get it? I would rather somebody dump bleach on me than worry about the ratio. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Then get the ratio wrong and have it be non-effective.
Exactly. There you go. All right, and then finally, I think this is the last one. We're gonna have diseases also. Fine.
Of course.
Radiation. The fighting in Northern Europe saw extensive use of tactical nuclear weapons. Even though the fear of total nuclear Armageddon has not yet become a reality, radiation is a constant threat to you. Rads. Remember, when you make your character, you start with rads.
Yeah. I got a lot.
5 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got 5.
Radiation permeates your body and builds up inside you over time. When you are contaminated by radiation, you gain rad points. Mark them in the checkboxes on your character sheet. Hotspots. Sometimes you will come across craters from nuclear strikes and other radiation hotspots. That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
The level of contamination varies and determines the frequency at which you gain a rad when staying in the hotspot. Weak, 1 per shift. Strong, 1 per stretch. And extreme, 1 per round. Makes perfect sense because those are the time frames used in the game.
Yeah, but especially for the extreme radiation, you're not going to know until it's too late.
Hopefully you got that Geiger counter.
Hopefully you do. Yeah. Hopefully you got batteries for it too.
Yeah. Remember, that is a piece of equipment you can get. Rad attack. Radical dude. You can also gain rads from specific events or actions. Why do I have Turtles references all running through my head now? Dang it. Such as consuming contaminated food or drink, wading through contaminated water, or coming into contact with contaminated items. Yeah, don't eat that contaminated squirrel from Chernobyl. In these situations, you gain 1 or more rads directly. Congratulations. This is called a rad attack. Effects. Every time you gain a rad, you must immediately roll for stamina to resist radiation poisoning. See diseases on the next page. Well, guess what we'll be covering next? The virulence of the disease is equal to +4 minus your total rad count.
Oh.
Wait, what? So you have a rad count of 5.
Yep.
So it's equal to -1?
Yep. To resist radiation poisoning. So I have a total -1 to resist radiation.
So you can't resist it at all? You're done?
Yeah, if you go down to past D or whatever, yeah. It's just you eat it. Nums. The radiation has completely killed your immune system, and you're done. Great.
That's horrible. Right.
Yeah, man. It is. We didn't get equipment for my character. He definitely has batteries and a Geiger counter.
And a hazmat suit. And
a hazmat suit. This is like, don't you want bullets? Nah, I'm good.
I traded him for the hazmat suit. Protective gear such as a full hazmat suit can protect you against radiation. It's not always effective, however. And wow. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. And needs to be handled correctly. Whenever you gain a rad, make a tech roll. If you succeed, the suit protects you against the radiation. You do not gain a rad at this time. Wow, that's great. I got protective gear that might work.
Yeah.
Vehicles. If you're in a vehicle, the frequency at which you suffer rads is halved. 1 rad every other time unit. So every other round, every other stretch, every other shift.
Right.
Remember, how many shifts in a day are there, Heathen Dog?
3.
Yeah,
well,
3 or
I guess 4, depending on what you say a shift is. Because if it's 6 hours, then that's 4. If it's 8 hours, that's 3. If it's 12 hours, that's only 2.
I wish my work shift was only 6 hours. You know, if you go with the quarter day concept of Forbidden Lands, it's 4. I would say 3 personally, but the game might actually, we may have covered it and I've already forgotten because I haven't played the game. But it may actually state how many there are in a day. But I would go with 3
Probably
for now until the book tells me otherwise. So that's basically 2 a day. Mm-hmm. Or cat, you're not getting anything. Go away. Vehicles, if we already did that. Radiation sickness. Oh, total rad. So yeah, you're at -1. By the way, we've complained about this book quite a bit for certain things. Thank you for this table, because it did clear up. Because even though I read what it read there, I wasn't sure if what I read was actually accurate. This proves it. So yes, you're at -1. So congratulations.
And let's see what I'm gonna get. What's my prize, Johnny?
Well, let's go to decontaminating you first.
Oh, okay.
When you have left a hotspot, 1 rad will leave your body every day. Really?
Okay.
So never mind. If you wash your body in clean water, half of your rads go away immediately. All right. You get this effect once. You can only wash half the. I'm gonna wash that rads right out of my hair. Permanent rad.
That's what I have. I have 5 permanent.
When you are contaminated, there's a risk that the radiation will stay in your body forever. Every time you're about to lose 1 rad, roll a d6. If you roll a boom, the rad stays. So if you roll a 1.
And it becomes permanent.
Mark this on your character sheet. Permanent rads stay with you for the rest of your short, bloody, horrible
life. Exactly. Now, just to refresh for people, there's temporary rads and permanent rads. When you make a character, you roll for permanent rads. And I got 5, which is a lot. But I have no temporary rads, and that chart for virulence, that is temporary rad based. So if you have, that's temporary
total
rad.
reds. Total reds.
Total from, oh shit, it's both.
Yep.
I'm boned. I'm boned.
Well, this is why you're an officer. You send everybody else forward.
I send everybody out, and I stay back. That's how it works. Johnny, take this Geiger counter and go in that hole. Why don't you do it?
Sir,
shut your goddamn mouth, Johnny.
I'm looking at you, and it's already going.
Now you know why I'm not going. Get out of here.
Sir, I feel safer in the hot spot than I do next to you. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Decontamination. Oh, we already did that.
And the permanent rats.
And the permanent rats. Yeah, we're rolling up here. Diseases.
You get 10, and then it's 10 rats, right? Permanent, and then you just die.
Did I miss the
like that.
beginning of diseases? Oh, no, yeah, I did. Here we go. That's right here. When exposed to a dangerous contagion or infection, you need to make a stamina roll modified by the virulence rating of the disease. And we'll look at the list of diseases below. Roll after the incubation period has passed. So if a disease has a 24-hour incubation period, you roll the next day. If it has a 1-week incubation period, you roll the next week. This is one of the things that I think a lot of people do poorly in games as a whole. I'm not talking about this game. I see it in Dungeons & Dragons. I see it in other games out there. They roll right away, and they let the player know, oh, you got mummy rot. Nah, the best way as a game master to use diseases.
They don't know until they see symptoms, man. And when they see symptoms, it's too late.
They're stuck somewhere, or it's always at a bad time. Imagine getting COVID when you're stuck in the middle of a dungeon. Or you're on the run from some bandits or something.
Werewolves or something.
Werewolves, there you go. So, or like I said, some of those really gross ones like mummy rot. Look, this is already a horrific game in terms like how it covers war. It's supposed to be gross. Do this right. Make sure that you play on that incubation period. All right. This is called an infection roll. If you fail the roll, you fall ill, which has 2 effects. You suffer 1 point of damage, and you can't heal damage. And by the way, this is common for a lot of games. Hey, Keith and Dog, Earth Dawn. Drink. Hold on, got a drink. I said Earth Dawn. Sorry, it's not alcohol. I don't have alcohol on Sundays. Well, not normally anyway. Can you heal any hit point damage? No, how is it first? Is it hit points before wounds or wounds before hit points? Well, either way.
It doesn't matter. You have to get rid of your wounds first.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. You have to get rid of the wounds first. Good point.
Because if you have a gaping wound, how can you heal the damage from that wound if you still have a gaping wound? It doesn't make sense.
My point is for people who say something like, "Oh, that doesn't make sense that you can't heal damage. You can heal, your body can heal a cut while you're suffering from the flu."
Yeah, that's not a wound. That's a cut. That's not a wound.
Well, but the point is it's just a trope across most games. It makes gameplay easier. So,
make another infection roll once per day.
From now on, we must stand 6 feet apart in our party formation in the dungeon. I like that. Okay, so here we go. Make another infection roll once per day. Each failed roll means you suffer another point of damage. Oof. If you're incapacitated by damage while sick, you die after another day if you're not given medical aid. People do die from the flu. I'm just saying.
It happens.
As soon as you succeed at an infection roll, you are no longer ill. So it's all or nothing here, baby. Stop rolling infection rolls and heal your damage normally. So you still have to recover. It isn't like, I'm good, let's go.
Yeah, just because you stop dying doesn't mean you're fine.
I mean, everybody's had the flu knows when that flu breaks, oh my God, you're like, I feel better, but you still feel run down.
You're still weak. Yeah, you're still messed up.
So food poisoning, virulence +2, pneumonias +1, typhoid fevers +1, wound infections, typhus, dysentery, cholera, rape. Okay, question for the people out here.
Yeah, you just die. You're dead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you can recover from rabies, can you?
Oh, no. I think there's been like 7 or 11 people in history that have ever recovered from rabies. After you have symptoms of rabies, you're 99% chance you're just gonna die horribly. It's gonna take a while, but you're gonna die. So yeah, I don't know about that.
And if somebody knows better out there, go ahead. But that's my understanding as well. So. The plague. Oh, -3. Why? Because the plague is crazy virulent.
Mm-hmm. There's so many ways you can get it. You know, it's not just fleas, man. It's all kinds of ways. So yeah, avoiding it is tough unless you're already vaccinated.
Right. I mean, look how many times the world has suffered. I mean, everybody knows about the Black Plague, but honestly, that wasn't the first or only time that's happened. The plague, until recent era, this happened a lot across the world, killing millions and millions of people. So, and yes, I agree. It's a game chart for ease of play. I have no issues with that. I just thought it was interesting because I kind of thought this should just be dead. Radiation sickness on page 80. That means we've already looked at it. 1 shift, vomiting, diarrhea, and bleeding is what can happen. So it's all in this chart here. So medical aid. If you are cared for by someone during the course of your illness, this person can make your infection rolls instead of you. Please be a doctor. The caregiver rolls from medical aid modified by the virulence of the disease. So let's just arbitrarily say, oh, wait, do you have medical as a skill?
Nope.
Medical aid? Oh.
Nope.
Awesome. What's your empathy?
B, so D10.
Okay, roll that D10. Oh, wait a minute. You're trying to cure yourself of cholera. So it'd be a D8, sir, not a D10, because you have suffered a -1.
Cure myself of cholera? That doesn't seem... I just
pee it out. Pee it out.
Piss it. Drink a lot of water. You'll be fine. If I can find an 8-sided die I'm talking about. Ah, here we go. 4.
That is not a success, unfortunately. So you have cholera, and now you suffer all the negative effects. -1 to your, was it -1 damage? And what was the other effect? I already forgot.
Abdominal pain. It's no good.
Oh, and you can't heal damage. That's right. So take a point of damage, and you can't heal any damage now until you get rid of that. And
great.
Yeah, looks like you're going to be rolling every day, too.
Awesome.
That sucks. All right. Well, that is. Oh wait, did we read medical aid? If you're given care, the caregiver. Okay, if you're given antibiotics, the caregiver gives a +3 bonus. So hey, if you took some good drugs, you could have added +3 that roll, but you didn't have any on you because you have no gear. You're naked.
Shut up. Shut up. No. With the amount of permanent radiation I have a well-stocked medical bag.
Anti-rad. You have iodine all over the place. Okay, there we go.
The Fallout universe. I'm good to go.
So let me read that one more time. If you're given antibiotics, caregiver gives a +3 bonus to the roll, but has no effect against viruses or radiation sickness.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
because it's antibiotics.
Yes.
That's not for radiation or not for viruses. It's for oh my god.
But you know, this is cholera. It is a bacterial infection, so antibiotics would work.
Yes. I couldn't think of the word bacteria for some reason. So there we go. That is it. Next, we'll be covering vehicle combat, which is going to be kind of a lengthy video. So let's pop this out and see what we got for chat.
I didn't mark anything because no one was really asking any pertinent questions.
Okay. And I kind of commented on the 2 fun comments in there. Going back there, played second session Dragonbane yesterday. My Wolfkin impaled the goblin off his warg. I mounted on the warg, held set up by the ears. Then our mallard cut his throat with his axe. Wait, what? Why? That's mean. Our GM said he ran the adventure multiple times. I was the first player to attempt to jump on the back of a warg. Okay, I get it. Couldn't you take it for an animal? I mean, as a warg, I get it, probably not, but I'm just wondering. Maybe you could have mounted that one. But, all right, well, I'm glad you're having fun playing Dragonbane, another free league game. We're getting a lot of heat for our coverage of Dragonbane because apparently we poo-pooed too many things in it. Well, so all right, since we have no relevant comments for this segment, put up the like, subscribe, and share. Please, well, there you go. Like, subscribe, and share. Legion Myth is fully 100% fan-supported, funded. We have no promoters, publicity.
That doesn't mean we don't want any.
Affiliates and so forth. Everyone that's actually given me any sort of email that says, hey, would you like to join our crew? Put so many limitations on us. Screw you. This is going, the Legion Myth will forever and always be mine. I am not giving it up. I'm not selling the rights away to it to anybody else ever.
But if he dies, his wife definitely will.
Yeah, that's fine.
She will sell out.
I'm dead. I don't care.
There you go.
All right, with that, I hope to see everybody in the next video on vehicle combat.